one of my, by then we'd got a staff and people were traveling to countries, and one of my staff came back from Burma or Myanmar and said, look, I'm writing this report about Christians being persecuted in Burma, but there's a Muslim group who are just as badly persecuted. What should we do? Should we put this in the report? And I kind of my instinct was, of course we should, but also my pragmatism and practicality was, I wasn't sure how this was going to go down, particularly in the Pentecostal world at the time. Suddenly we're speaking up for Muslims. Will they think that we've become some kind of syncretistic liberal organisation? And let me tell you, Chris, I believe that Jesus Christ is the only way to God the Father. But I also believe that we are all made in the image of God. And God has given us all a free will to choose, and God hates injustice. And so whatever you believe or don't believe, you shouldn't be persecuted for that. And so it did take, I must admit, it took me a while to, for a number of years, we did, when I was in Parliament, when I was in at the United Nations or on Capitol Hill, we would talk about the Rohingya Muslim in Burma and then other groups as well that weren't Christian. But I didn't really tell our supporters we were doing that for fear that they wouldn't understand and that the finance tap would be turned off. But eventually I really got challenged about it. God convicted me about that this was wrong. I was being deceitful. And actually, the guy that I got in to help me look at this from a theological viewpoint was Joel Edwards, the old who was the general director of the EA and many other things. And Joel and I worked through it with our staff, and realised, yes, of course we should be speaking up for people of other faiths. It doesn't mean to say we agree with what they are saying, but the Bible makes it very, very clear. If you go to the Old Testament, it talks a lot about in Leviticus about looking after the foreigner and the alien. And in fact, when Jesus himself was asked, who is my neighbor, he chose a non-Jew. He chose someone that the Jews didn't like, and basically said, everybody's your neighbor, and we need to look after one another.